Hello and welcome everybody. Today I am super excited because it is LiquidSheth Day. Oh yeah, I'm so excited for LiquidSheth Day, and this is probably the replay I am most excited for just because for those of you that don't know, I've been laddering a lot recently and I can't beat Terran players. Like I don't know what I can't figure out the timings. Everything just feels wrong. For some reason right now I can't deal with Terrans, and then I go up against a guy who just goes Mass Marine, owns the crap out of me, and then next game I'll be like, alright, I gotta play more standard, Ling, Baneling, Muta. And then the guy just goes Mass Thor and Siege Tank, and I don't know how to break it, and it just feels so horrible. So I'm so excited to see what Sheth is going to be doing here. This is going to be on Tal'Darim Altar, so it is going to be more of a macro style game, or more likely to be a macro style game, just because we do have cross positions here, and that is a very, very long rush distance. And spawning in the top right corner, our hero for the day, playing from Team Liquid as the Blue Zerg, we have LiquidSheth, who is currently trying to fool his opponent into thinking that he is Stefano, playing on his Korean ult. His opponent spawning in the bottom left position as the Red Terran, playing from Team mouzThorZaIN, we have mouzThorZaIN. And now Sheth is telling him that he is Morrow. Let's see if that actually works out here. I'm actually kind of curious to know how this is going to work out. You misspelled his name. mouzThorZaIN calling him out. Calling him out on getting the name wrong. Sheth here looks like he's going to be going for a fast expansion. This is pretty standard here. Against Terran, a lot of Zerg players always want to open fast expansion because it's actually almost impossible to stop this hatchery from going down. Some Zerg players will, just to be really safe, they'll put it down on 14. But if you want to be a little more, safer, you can go on 16. But 14 is pretty decent. I've seen a lot of Zerg players go throw this hatchery down on 14 just because for Terran players it really is pretty much impossible on a map like this to stop that from going down. Like, they're just not going to scout you in time to throw down that, or to get that hatchery down. They're not going to be able to throw down any engineering bays or anything like that because they're just not really that likely. As you can see, mouzThorZaIN just now moving out to scout. If he wants to scout any earlier than this, he would really have to kind of cut some of his mineral production. They really don't want to do that. So it's really, really safe getting down that hatchery and then following that up with gas and pool, as Sheth has done here. Looks like he actually went pool gas here, as that gas is just now finishing up. He's going to start mining on that gas geyser in the base of mouzThorZaIN. mouzThorZaIN actually just now grabbing a double gas after going for a 1-Rax expand so far. That is a simple build where you just get 1 barracks, pump Marines out of there, and once you have 400 minerals, you throw down that command center. Then you instantly drop down a couple more gas and you can start to get your factories, more barracks, whatever the heck you would like to get. mouzThorZaIN just now going to be scouting his opponent. See that his opponent went for that standard hatch first opening and is just now transferring some workers down. If we check out the harvester count right now, we can see that they are just dead even in harvesters right now. Going to be a pretty standard opening here from both players. A couple of Lings now out on the map here for Sheth. But we got a lot of unit movement actually out here for mouzThorZaIN right now, as he actually has a lot of Marines now moving across the map here. He's continuing to rally more Marines to his opponent's base. If we follow this line all the way back, yeah, it looks like he's just going to be rallying a lot of Marines out here to the front of the base, and he's staying on the high ground so that Sheth not going to be able to see those Marines there as he gets to that high ground, and Sheth losing a couple of Lings for nothing as he's now being forced to pull back. Going to throw down a Spine Crawler. He does have a couple of Queens up here, one in the main, one in the natural, and now he's going to be forced to pull that Queen back just because he does see that there is some aggression coming. We do see 6 Zerglings are currently on the way, as well as Zergling speed. He did pull guys off of gas right now, just got enough gas to be able to get that metabolic boost going. That is, of course, the Zergling speed upgrade, and now just continuing to get up lots and lots of drones. That's exactly what you want to be doing in this position. You want to know as soon as your opponent starts to move in, but it looks like that's exactly what mouzThorZaIN wanted, is for his opponent to produce lots of Zerglings as he moved forward with those Marines, and then forced Sheth to build some extra Lings here, and now he's just gone back home. So that's actually a really good move there by mouzThorZaIN. because he forced a lot of lings, because Sheth really, what, he would have only had these 2 lings otherwise. These 8 lings could have been 4 more drones right now, and Sheth would now be even farther up in the harvester count than he is at the moment. 32 harvesters to the 26 of ThorZaIN right now, so Sheth looking pretty good here. Gonna start to get a little mobile with these lings, gonna see if he's gonna start to take advantage of the fact that he made these right now. I mean, that's really what you gotta do. If your opponent forces you to make lings, well, you better do something with those lings, otherwise they're just going to be sitting around in your base. There are a couple of Hellions now out on the field here for ThorZaIN. In the main of ThorZaIN, he does have a reactor factory that is now down, a barracks with a tech lab researching that stim. That's actually a very, very early stim. The lings of Sheth now going to be moving into the base here, seeing that orbital command going down, and look at that, the response to that. As soon as he saw that orbital command, lots of drones on the production tab. He's producing some lings because he is a little worried about these Hellions that are at the front of his base. He's thrown down an evolution chamber here and a hatchery to start to create a nice little wall here at his front. And so now, looks like Sheth just going to be taking a couple more gas guys, I will bet. No, still no lair tech here for Sheth. So once again, Sheth doing that opening that he likes to do, delaying that lair, getting up this 3rd hatchery before lair. It's kind of an interesting build that I don't know how many players do that. I don't feel like I've noticed that from a lot of other players. I think a lot of players will get up a fairly quick lair because they want to be able to get up that early detection, start to get up that spire, because that spire takes an eternity to finish up. But Sheth really like to sit on lings for a while. Notice he's researching that +1 ground carapace first, because that is of course quite useful against actually I'm trying to think, does it help against Hellions? Let's do the math here real quick. Versus light, 14 damage, and a Zergling. Where's Zerglings? Oh, they're trying to take down the destructible debris. Zerglings have 35 health, so if we do the quick math here, 14, it will take 3 shots. So no, a +1 armor will not actually help you against Hellions. It'll still take the same exact number of hits from a Hellion to kill a Zergling, but what it does help you against is against siege tanks. Siege tanks with a Zergling +1 upgrade, Zerglings will survive 1 hit from a siege tank, which is actually a huge deal. Now ThorZaIN actually going to be moving out here with a lot of Hellions here, but a couple of spines. Actually, this is actually a brilliantly placed spine here by Sheth. Going to allow this spine to deal lots of damage, and this would mean that ThorZaIN would actually have to use a scan to be able to shoot at that spine crawler. Until then, that spine crawler would just be doing a lot of free damage, and now that Sheth has taken down the destructible debris to his 3rd, he is now going to start to be taking his lair. There it is. And now he's going to be moving out here, surrounding some of these Marines, getting a bunch of free Marine kills. The rest of them now moving into the main here, and that siege tank does not have siege mode yet. Siege mode just now about to be finishing up, and there we go. Siege mode is now completed. Bunker now up in the front as well. If we check out the harvester count, 49 harvesters to 53, favoring ThorZaIN actually at the moment. So far, no workers killed for either player in the base. We do see that there is a starport out. He's actually producing quite a few Vikings right now, and I'm not sure I actually like this from ThorZaIN. This allows you to get a little bit of air control early on. With those, he's going to be able to start moving around, start to pick off overlords all around the map. But in the base of Sheth, he's just continuing to get lots and lots more drones for this 3rd, as well as more lings. We see a Baneling nest now on the production tab. Lair is now finished. Infestation pit going down. This is actually a really, really fast infestation pit here. There's a roach horn up, but I don't think he's actually produced any roaches at all yet. It's so far strictly been lings, and I think he's actually going to be getting up very early infestors. And this is something that I've seen Sheth do before, where he gets pretty quick infestors going up pretty early, just because these early attacks usually consist of lots of Marines and siege tanks. Often you won't see a lot of other units in the Terran compositions at this point in time, unless they're going for that big Hellion play. But even if they are, good fungal growths can stop Hellions quite a bit, because a lot of Hellion players will try to run by to do lots of drone damage and things like that. Fungal growths put that to a complete dead stop. Really, really hard for Hellions do a whole lot of damage if you've got a lot of infestors around to be able to trap them quite easily if they are placed well. Now ThorZaIN is going to be moving out here with some Marines as well as siege tanks and Hellions here. Going to be a potent little force here as he takes his 3rd. Sheth does have 1 Overlord in place there, and he did actually scout that expansion going down with it, so he knows that that 3rd is being taken here. His 3rd is getting pretty well saturated. If we check out the harvester count, once again, 76 harvesters to 69. Sheth is currently up up in that harvester count. But ThorZaIN currently happy to sit back right now. Looks like he's going for a fairly heavy Bioforce here, as he's got a lot of barracks up right now. 4 with Reactor, no, we actually see one more with another reactor coming up, so it's going to be a total of 5 barracks, all with reactors. But oh my goodness, the Hellions actually get caught at the Xel'Naga watchtower, and as you can see there, Lings are actually pretty good against Hellions if you're able to surround them pretty effectively. They go down quite quickly, and Sheth is now going to be taking his own 4th base here, as well as maybe even taking a 5th. Yeah, there we go. Now a 5th going down as well. In the meantime, some Zergling's going to be moving into this 3rd base, forcing ThorZaIN to pull all of his SCVs off the line, just because his whole army was out of position there at that point, and 5 workers killed so far for Sheth. So Sheth looking pretty good. ThorZaIN transitioning into a very standard mix, but notice he's going for very heavy upgrades right now. He is researching +2 infantry weapons, as well as +1 infantry armor and +1 vehicle weapons. I really like that from ThorZaIN. And oh no, losing a couple of infestors a little bit carelessly there, but now fungal growths are going to be able to clean those marines up as this drop attempted to go down here, but it looks like Sheth was able to get a good cancel on that hatchery before it actually went down. We do have a couple of Vikings down here that are going to be spotting this base. Oh no, and I hit the back button. That is not the way to check vision. There we go. And bam, vision of ThorZaIN. No, he doesn't actually see those yet, but I'm sure very soon he is going to be checking on that. The medevac has gotten away for now. 3rd base getting up and running here for ThorZaIN, and Sheth is now just going for lots and lots of upgrades. Notice Hive Tech is done, already researching +3 ground carapace, getting that adrenal glands, just now starting melee attacks level 1. Actually, that's actually a super late level 1 melee attack. I'm actually curious to know why he chose to get that so late. Where's that other evolution chamber? There it is. There's that other evolution chamber. We do see an Ultralisk cavern now coming down here for Sheth as well, so we are going to see some Ultralisks coming down on the way for Sheth. We do see a good number of infestors currently out on the field. If we check out the unit counting station, Thors are starting to come out here for ThorZaIN. Looks like Sheth is currently sitting at a few Banelings. He does have 6 Banelings currently out on the field, 5 infestors. Drops going down right now for ThorZaIN, but Sheth being really active with his Zerglings, keeping him moving all around the map. We do see that this Viking, both of these Vikings, continuing to be very annoying, picking off overlords wherever they can, but Sheth being sure to create lots of overlords so as not to get supply blocked, and 3 Ultralisks are now on the way. Drops going down for ThorZaIN, gonna be able to stop this hatch from going down unless Sheth reacts to that quickly. In the meantime, he is now going to be moving out with a lot of Marines, a lot of siege tanks, gonna finally be getting a little bit aggressive here, but Sheth is doing what Zergs do best, especially on these big macro maps. You want to be expanding all over the place, and that is exactly what Sheth is doing. Expansions going down there, and there. Gonna be really hard for ThorZaIN to deal with unless ThorZaIN starts taking some more bases here very soon. And as you can see, ThorZaIN is throwing down another command center, and now he's going to be able to get in there, and oh, that medevac does manage to get away, and oh, nicely placed siege tank there. From there, they can actually siege that ground just a little bit. In the meantime, this drop is going to be hitting up here at the top here. Sheth is going to have to move quite quickly to be able to deal with this drop. Oh no, he's actually already got Lings and Infestors in place. Holy cow, I actually really like this from Sheth. This is actually... It's a small thing that's actually really hard to do, that players just don't think about doing these kind of things often enough. And oh no, I think that hatchery is going to go down there, though those Marines are going to be lost. That siege tank on the low ground, going to be able to pick off that hatchery. And now Sheth bringing down some overlords, and we have actually carrying for overlords. No, carrying for overlords not yet on the way, but what was I saying before? Ah yes, keeping small groups of Lings and Infestors at your bases. It's actually a little bit tricky to do because you have to be very aware of your map. Your map awareness has to be very good, and as we can see from the map right now, if we check out Sheth's vision, notice he has overlords all over the place. He has overlords watching bases. He's got actually I would like to see some more overlords over here on the left side of the map, but you want overlords all over the place. You want map vision so that you can know and when drops are coming and that kind of thing. But the other thing you want is you want to be sure you keep center vision control. If you have center vision control, it allows you to spread out your units all over the place like that, all over your bases, and actually ThorZaIN is actually doing a fantastic job of keeping Sheth's bases down. Sheth hasn't been able to keep that many bases as much as he would have really liked to. But if you have that center map control, it allows you to see when your opponent's moving out so that you can pull all those small pockets of units all over the place together. And oh, nice little bit of micro there by Sheth as he manages to keep that queen alive with 3 hit points. And now lots of Lings, Banelings, and Ultralisks are out in the middle of the map and ready for this push that is now coming forward from ThorZaIN, as ThorZaIN continues to just macro on 3 base. This is actually super late expansions here by by ThorZaIN rather, as more drops and more drops are going down. But this is kind of one place that you can get into as Zerg, where you can start to feel like, oh, Terran is so strong, they can do all these drops and things all the time. But as you realize, even a strong player like ThorZaIN, if they really start to do heavy drops, it's really hard for them to do anything else. Look at this. He's just now taking a 4th base, going to be even trying to take a 5th base here, I think, pretty surely. He's got the orbital commands for it. Hasn't actually thrown down the command centers yet, but notice, it's the 20-minute mark right now, and ThorZaIN just now taking another base, and his main army is not that big, and Sheth actually catching the entire army unsieged. Sheth now moving forward with lots and lots of Ultralisks. These Ultralisks are currently 5-2 in upgrades. We do see melee attacks level 3 is on the way, as well as +1 flyer attacks, interestingly enough, and this army is just going to be cleaned up so fast here by Sheth. Sheth taking down everything oh so quickly. Ghosts are now out on the field. That is the appropriate counter to Ultralisks, because Ghosts are just absolutely fantastic with their snipe ability. They can actually take down Ultralisks quite fast, as ThorZaIN now transitioning into heavy Marauder play to try to counter these Ultralisks. And look at how fast even these Ultralisks with +5 armor go down so quickly to snipe and Marauders. Marauders just really, really good against anything at all that is armored. And now we do have reinforcements with a lot of Ultralisks here from Sheth, as I think we are going to be seeing a Greater Spire here. Yeah, there's that Greater Spire. It is already down, so Broodlord tech is now available to Sheth. Sheth's just been sitting, finally establishing this 5th base by throwing down lots of spine crawlers. I think this is actually one of the key things that Sheth does that I think you really have to be prepared to. As you start to take a lot of bases, as you get aggressive, you want to start to throw down lots of spine crawlers, because before, notice no spine crawlers were here when he was keeping pockets of Zerglings and Infestors here, but now once he started to pull his army together and started to be aggressive, he's starting to throw down lots of spine crawlers and wants to use spine crawlers very liberally to stop drops. Looks like 3 or 4 per base to really be able to stop any kind of unit production going on here. And oh, this is such a brilliant move here by Sheth. Sheth is going to be bringing in some Overlords to tank damage from the turrets, and then he just has 1 Overlord with Banelings loaded up into it, and big engagement going on in the middle as Sheth now moves out with tons of Banelings, Ultralisks, and cleans up the bioforces of ThorZaIN here. He's actually losing quite a bit, but once again, Sheth just wants to trade armies right now. He knows he's in a good economic spot. He just did a lot of economic damage down there, and Banshees now out on the field here for ThorZaIN, as Sheth continues to push forward into the 3rd, into the natural expansion, even has Zerglings doing a little bit of counterattacks here at the 4th base, and ThorZaIN is actually going to just GG out of this game. Brilliantly played game here by Sheth, playing very defensive in the early game, going for that early hatchery to get up lots of Zerglings and start to take lots of center map control. And then once he's got that hatchery up, then he expands, takes his expansion, starts to really, really heavily tech with Zerglings all over the map, lots of upgrades, fast Infestors, so that when he finally does push, he does have an army of Infestors ready to go with lots of fungal growths to slow down pushes, because by that point his economy is up and running. He's hopefully got the upgrades up and running. He's got bases all over the place, and from there on out, Sheth is just in a good place to dominate the game and keep his opponent on the defensive and preventing him from taking too many bases. So, brilliantly played game by Sheth. We are now going to be jumping into a ZVZ here from Sheth, so stick with me, guys. Some ZVZ from Sheth coming up in just a moment.